mature folks.
There's 2 seats up here.
For ladies,
There's
mature
2
ladies.
seats up here.
When Roxy's coming, so save one, maybe save one for her. How many here did not know that it was Janmastami? And how many here have no idea what that even means? That's great. Then we're all on the same ecstatic page.
Tony.
Hare Krishna.
So for the glorification of the advent of Lord Krishna, for the glorification of Lord Krishna himself, and the pleasure of Lord Krishna's devotees, all of you, we will chant the devotional Bhajan Jai Radha Madhava, and then I'll speak a little bit about Janmastami. How much time do I have?
45 minutes.
Okay.
Whatever.
Do my best. Is there a water in there? Yeah, just loosen the lid and put it here. Thank you. Prabhupada Paramahansa Parvadakacharya Satara, His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami, Srila Prabhupada Ki,
Jai.
ISKCON BBT Founder Acharya, His Divine Grace, Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai, Grantara Srimad Bhagavatam Ki Jai, Gaur Premanandi Hari Hari Bol. All glories, all glories, all glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to Sri Guru and Sri Gauranga. Sri Krishna Janmastami Ki Jai. Can Hare Krishna? Can the voice be heard in the back? No. All right. So either we turn this up. People from the back just get. Can we hear up here? Can you hear it all anywhere?
We can turn
Okay, up the sound, and then the people in the back just come forward. There's a big space here. Y'all can just fill in the space. Scoot up a bit, polish the floor as you do it, and the ones in the back just get closer. Savaridam Vishwam Amogalila Sri Shakti Avyakti Atina Sajateshmin Bhuteshu Chantarita Atma Tantra Sadvargikam Vivarti Sadhunesha. This is from the Srimad Bhagavatam, the first canto, third chapter, 36th verse. The translation is, the Lord, whose activities are always spotless, is the master of the six senses and is fully omnipotent with six opulences. He creates the manifested universes. He annihilates them without being the least bit affected. He is within every living being and is always independent. Srila Prabhupada's illuminating words, purport. The prime difference between the Lord and the living entities, who knows what the living entities refer to? So when we speak about living entities, we're talking about ourselves. The various parts and parcels of the Supreme Lord. So the prime difference between the Lord and the living entities is that the Lord is the creator and the living entities, that's us, are the created. So he is called Amoga Lila, and that indicates that there is nothing lamentable in his creation. In other words, he doesn't make any mistakes. Everything he does is all perfect. And those who create disturbance in his creation are themselves disturbed. In other words, disturbance is not caused by people who are self-satisfied, peaceful, and happy. It's caused by people who are themselves disturbed. He is transcendental to all material afflictions. So does everybody here understand transcendental? What does that mean? Anybody not know what we mean when we say transcendental? Okay, so when the conversations are done, I'll continue. Okay. So the Supreme Lord is named, addressed of Ovalila, divine pastimes, and they're spotless, and the Lord is spotless. Within this material creation, every living soul is subjected to fall down in some way, to make some mistake, to do something deplorable even sometimes. And the result is suffering due to these defects. And even in the liberated stage, no one can really be said to be perfect within material existence, in the sense that there's so many powers, there's so many conditions that are beyond our control. We can all look around and, just within the confines of our own home or outside or in the greater world and see and hear so many problematic situations And we might even sometimes say, well, if I was in charge, I'd do this or I'd do that, you know. We may think that way sometimes. But most of these conditions are beyond our control. And so many things that we just really don't know. We don't know the backstory. Like, why aren't they doing this? But we don't know, really. There's a good story behind why people may be doing certain things or governments may be doing certain things. So it's said in the Gita that every endeavor is covered by some sort of flaw. You know, the fire, there's some smoke. It's said that one who's engaged in devotional service, in devotional activities, in pure devotional, is perfect, because that perfection is not due to one's own abilities or one's own potential, but because a humble devotee is offering whatever he does to Krishna, just like this isn't here every day. It wasn't even here 3 hours ago or 2 hours ago. But some humble devotees showed up and they started moving the chairs around and rearranging things, and suddenly this beautiful altar manifest. And then Radha and Krishna came, Gaura Nitai came, His Divine Grace Srila Prabhupada came. So that's not happening really. We may think, yeah, I'm doing this. But actually, whatever we are doing, when it's in connection with Krishna, we have to know we're being guided by Krishna. And then whatever we do becomes perfect. Even if we think, oh, maybe this, that, you know. No, but because the effort was made on behalf of Krishna, and that way it's perfect. So Krishna appeared in this world. So here comes a little history, a little backstory about Janmastami, about Krishna and his appearance, his birth in this world. He appeared as the son of Devaki and Vasudeva in Mathura. Not only that, he was in a prison. They were imprisoned. His parents were imprisoned, and they weren't felons. They weren't criminals. They were unjustly imprisoned. It happens sometimes. The other day I read one person, 46 years unjustly imprisoned. They finally got the poor guy out. 46 years, locked up by a judicial mistake. He didn't do anything wrong. So it happens. Devaki and Vasudeva, they were locked up. It was due to jealousy and envy. Locked up. And the baby, little Krishna, he was born in prison to Devaki and Vasudeva in Mathura. And at the same time, he also appeared to Yasoda and Nanda Baba in Vrindavan, Gokula. And you might say, oh, wait a minute, 2 different places, there's a river in between. What happened? How could that be? That's Krishna, beyond our comprehension. He appeared just like an ordinary baby child. He was lying just like this little helpless infant at the side of Mother Yashoda. And when she saw him, she was thinking, oh, he's my child. I have to protect him. I have to feed him. I must teach him how to be a good boy so that his father will be proud of him. But just to reveal his transcendental nature, in the prison cell in Mathura, before he appeared as a tiny baby from the womb of Devaki, he manifested his majestic form of Narayana, which means 4 arms. He had a conch, a chakra, a shank, a gada, and a lotus in his hands. As a baby, there was even jewelry. Do anybody here had a kid that was born with 4 hands and a lot of jewelry? Slightly blue complexion. They say man is made in the image of God. But what that image is not like we perceive. And we just have that example of Lord Krishna in his appearance, what he looked like as immediately from birth. And of course, that was such a shocking thing. And there was that whole backstory where Kamsa was going to come and kill all the babies. And so if he saw this baby with all those decorations and he would know, here's God, because he was believe it or not, he was always thinking of God, but in a very bad way. He wanted to kill God. So if he saw a four-armed newborn baby with all these adornments, he would open his God and kill him. Not that he could, but that would be his intention. So he's lying there. He comes in this majestic form, and then Devaki is like, this is too much. Please just return to a normal, ordinary-looking baby, please. Because that was the only way she could think to save her son. So one of the very great acharyas, Vaishnava acharyas, Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur, and other acharyas, they have come by studying deeply and through their pure-heartedness. They have come to the conclusion of the scriptures that they discovered that Krishna, he simultaneously incarnates in the womb of Devaki and the womb of Yashoda. This is happening simultaneously. So the original Krishna, this Bihari Govinda, he appeared in the womb of Yashoda along with his sister Jogamaya. And Vasudeva, Krishna, Mathurash, the Lord of Mathura, appeared within the womb of Devaki. They're the same person, but revealing different transcendental qualities. Can we turn off the little whatever it is? According to the loving relations that he's going to have with that particular devotee. And that devotee, you can imagine if Krishna is born to them, they're full with love. It's called ras, the taste, the mood, full with that love. So when Lord Narayan spoke to Vasudeva, he requested him bring this baby to Gokul Raj, the residence of Nanda, and exchange him with the baby girl. Because this King Kamsa was after the guys, but it's the son who's going to kill me. So thus far, he had more or less spared the girls. So Vasudeva's carrying out this order. But it was a great sacrifice for him. And the love of Vasudeva for Krishna. So this love means the willingness to surrender for the pleasure of the loved one. That is love. Most mothers, they kind of get that. They'll do anything for their kid out of love. Isn't it? Fathers too, but mostly the mothers. Mother's not calculating, I'm going to do this for my kids so that I'll get that, maybe later when I'm an old lady, you'll take care of me. They're not thinking like that at all. Maybe later on, but at the moment, they're just there with love for their child. They'll do anything. So that's real love. And when love is selfish, it means you're going to barter. I'll do this if you do that. That's called lust. And without this, when one is without any self-desire, that is the love. So Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami explained the difference between love and lust is just like the difference between gold and iron. Both are metal, but gold is precious and iron, you throw it in the street. So the affection of our heart selflessly sacrifices for the pleasure of Krishna when there's affection in our heart. And the only supreme object of the love for our soul is that love when the same affectionate nature within our heart wants to selfishly enjoy either on the gross or subtle level, then there's the common, the less. So Vasudeva loved Krishna, even though, a little backstory again, before Krishna appeared, 6 of his children had been killed. How many would just keep on having kids if you lost one after the other? And it wasn't like they got sick and died. They were killed. They were murdered in a horrific way. And then there was another that appeared to be a miscarriage, and that child was transferred to another lady's womb. We just celebrated his appearance, Baladev. He never even got to see that child. And then finally, when the child that him and Devaki were longing for finally appears with 4 arms, and then he goes back to the 2 arms, and then you can imagine his heart was just so filled, and Devaki's heart was so filled. Krishna says, you remain here in Mathura. You stay, you live here in Mathura, but take me to Gokul, where I will reside. So finally, you get what you're longing for, and then he's just going to leave. And Vasudeva went through the great difficulty because there was this torrential rain, a horrific storm was going on. And he was locked up in this prison, and then all of a sudden, mystically, magically, the doors open up. He goes out, there's this terrible storm going on. I believe we've had a few storms lately in America, flash flooding and so many things going on. That was going on. And the river Yamuna was flooding like mad in big waves. And all of a sudden, the door of the prison opened. He has little Krishna on his head. The Jamuna becomes just where he had to walk, very peaceful, very quiet, just so he could walk across the river to go cool. So, although Krishna appears to put obstacles in the path of his devotee service, at the same time, he always protects the devotees and he makes their service a success. That's Krishna. And he does this to glorify the devotee, to show their unflinching determination to others. Just see what that person has done. Krishna, he's not trying to do something amazing. For him, it's not a big deal. He wants to put his devotees in a situation where this devotee appears amazing and glorifies the devotee in that way. And he's doing this just to give us a chance to be purified, to give us the opportunity to render service in a more conscious, deep mood. So here's Vasudeva, that finally gets that first son that he's waited for so long. And he's saying this, I'm going to leave you. I'm leaving you. You stay here in the prison. If anyone was imprisoned and the door opened up and you got out, would you willingly come back to the prison to be locked up again? But Vasudeva did that because he was ordered by Krishna, his son. He put his own personal interest aside, probably the most difficult thing he'd ever have to do, to take this child that he had waited and longed for away. So Krishna protects one who surrenders to him. And what provides we have, he provides what we have. He carries what we lack. This is, Gita is telling this, We may think, how can I do this? It's like, it's just beyond. And then suddenly we're able to do something really wonderful. Now, if we think I've done something wonderful, you've missed the point. You've missed the opportunity. Somehow Krishna has helped me do something so wonderful to serve him. That's the mood we want to develop. So, what we don't have, Krishna provides. So there they were, they're in the storm, the moon is becoming peaceful so they can go through. Anantasesh appears over Vasudeva's head just like an umbrella, so not one drop of rain would touch the baby Gopal. There's a very fascinating story. It's a true story, and it's just down the road, down 23. There's a little town in that Ohio 23 goes down. So it was a miracle that happened. So Prabhupada said that Mary, Mary from the Catholic Church, Mary, the Mother of Christ, this little town in a farmlands just down the road, they decided, they came together, and it wasn't like even a little city, it was, a few stores, whatever. But they came together and they wanted to have a church dedicated to the Virgin Mother Mary. And it happened that somehow or other, there was this murti, they don't use that word, but, deity of Mary was actually donated. I think I forget where it came from Greece or somewhere, but it arrives on a boat, and all the town people go and meet it somewhere along the river from New York. It gets on some river, they meet it, And then they're coming by ox cart, or no, horse or ox, I don't remember, it doesn't matter. It was an animal drawn cart. And a horrible storm shows up. And they have no place. They have to get back here to this place. Everywhere they went, the storm was all around, except on the procession and over this beautiful deity of Mary. So, Krishna sometimes we're thinking we're the only ones who get the miracles. Krishna is so immensely extraordinary. You just have a little faith. You just have a little desire to serve him one way or the other. And there's reciprocation. So Krishna, the source of everything, said in the Brahma Samhita that all of the Vishnus, they are just like so many little candles. But the original one is Krishna. He's the original candle who lights all others. You know that when we greet our deities every morning, what are we singing? Govindam Maripurusham Tamaham Bhajami. Govindam Maripurusham Tamaham Bhajami. So just to prove that Krishna is everything and everything is coming for Krishna. Narayan, Lord Narayan, who came as the four hands, merged into the source of Govinda, Krishna. So in the Garga Samhita, there's a very elaborate description that prior to Krishna's appearance in this world, he appears at scheduled times, once in a day of Brahma, in every universe. We're thinking about here we are, and there's so many universes beyond our imagination. Just like right now, there's the scientists trying so hard to comprehend outer space. Outer space does not, like we're contained in this room. There's some walls, there's a floor, there's a ceiling. There's no floors, walls, or ceilings in outer space. And there is no way you could ever imagine how many universes are going on in outer space. So the demigods, on a particular occasion, they approached Kirodakshaya Vishnu, and he told them that, well, you should go to Goloka Vrindavan, and then we should request Krishna to appear in the world, because that is the time when he comes to perform his wonderful pastimes. And part of the wonderful pastimes is he dispatches the demoniacs. He relieves the burden of the demons from Mother Earth, who appears as a cow. Now, sometimes, when we hear how Krishna killed a demon, and we get, hurry, bull, sometimes people who have no understanding of these transcendental pastimes, they're shocked. They're shocked. What Krishna's killing is not like, if I kill somebody, they're gone, they're finished. Krishna's killing is liberating them. So there's big difference, and we can't imitate that. So Ganges was flowing from the crack that was made by the toe of Vamanadev when he took the second step. You all know when that little dwarf, which was really Krishna, and he went to Bali, the king, and Bali was so enchanted by this. So, what do you want? And he goes, I just want 3 steps. And he was laughing at him, man, like you're just this little kid, how many 3 steps, I own everything within. I'll give you the whole universe. He was deluded. No, I just want 3 steps. And the first step took quite a bit of space, and the second step he hit that little crack in between the universes of the material universe, the spiritual universe, and then what started coming was the Ganges was flowing through that crack. So all the leading demigods, along with Shirodakshaya, Vishnu, Brahma, Shiva, all the others, they were just starting to float up the stream through the Ganges, and they went through the crack through the universe. And then Mahavishnu joined them. And then they went beyond the Viraja River. So the Viraja River, it's like a landmark, a dividing, like if you look at a map, you'll see some lines. And sometimes it's just like between Ohio and Kentucky, there's a river, the Ohio River. One side you've got Ohio, then you've got. So this Viraja, this river, divides the material world from the spiritual world. And so they went beyond that, and they went to the Vaikunthas, and then they entered the gates of Goloka. And then one of the gopi servants was guarding, and she goes, "Hi, greet them, welcome, Hare Krishna, but who are you?" And they said, "We're the demigods, we're the devatas, and the Purusha avatars of the universe." And she goes, "Oh, which universe?" And the demigods, they were thinking there's only our universe, just like this is our room. They're only thinking in one dimension. And so they go, "Which universe?" And they're like, "The universe." And she replied, "No, there are so many universes, just like mustard seeds in a barrel of mustard seeds. So which universe? There are millions and billions and trillions of Brahmas and Shivas and Indras." So that was quite, if you happen to be a demigod and you were thinking you were, in a very powerful situation, and suddenly you might become a little humbled to hear that, And they were humbled. So because they became humbled, they were given entrance. And they became before Krishna. The demigods saw that Mahavishnu, Karnadakshayi Vishnu, just came from Govinda, Vrindavan, Bihari, and Mahavishnu's body merged into the source of Krishna. And Garbhodakshayi Vishnu, he came and he merged into the source of Krishna. And then Kirodakshayi Vishnu, who is the source of the Paramatma, the Lord of Swetadeep, and he merged into the body of Krishna. So suddenly, they saw Lord Nrsingadev. I mean, how many of us would just what would we do if we saw Lord? We see Lord Nrsingadev. If you're in Vrindavan, curtains up, there's Nrsingadev. You'd think we'd faint or something. We're so dull. So Lord Nrsingadev appears, and he merged into the form of Krishna. And at that moment, all these demigods realized that Krishna, Stu Bhagavan Swayam, he is the source of everything and everyone. So all the great saintly persons, their constant meditation is the lotus feet of Lord Vishnu. But Govindam Maripurusham Tamaham Vajami, the original Vishnu, Adi Vishnu, Adi Param, is the all-auspicious personality of Godhead Krishna. So then Vasudev took Yoga Maya back. He made the switch, the baby switch. And that's another thing nowadays. We have what's known as the woke culture. People are thinking they're getting moments of enlightenment. So here's somebody, he takes a baby out in the storm, away from the mother at the time of birth, and to another lady, leaves that baby and takes another one. Can you imagine what these so-called woke people would be saying? We don't want to even imagine, but, they would have something stupid to say for sure about this baby swapping. So he takes Yogamaya back to Mathura. And meanwhile, Kamsa attempts to kill this little daughter. And then you all know how Yogamaya, she just goes up into the sky, into the ether, and she proclaims, "That son who is meant to kill you has already been born, and he's somewhere else, and there's nothing you can do." You can imagine the fear that was probably going down Kamsa's back, but he still didn't want to concede. He was not willing to humbly accept the will of destiny that he was meant to die by the hands of Krishna. So he sends his asuras, the demons. A demon, sometimes people are like, why do you use that demon word? We like it, actually. But it simply means someone who is separating themselves from Krishna. I don't need that Krishna. So demoniac mentality. So, Kamsa, he was sending his demons in all directions to murder all the babies that had born anywhere in the recent time. And that was creating havoc. Everybody can imagine that. Even there was such a story in the Christian Bible where this one king was wanting to slaughter all the newborns. Yeah, these things are going on. Anyways, finally, in Mahavan Gokul Dham, Mother Yasoda, by the Yogamaya potency, she's tired from giving the birth. So she's just lying there, the baby that appeared. And it's not that she went through the normal process of labor, but just to make a divine Leela, Krishna caused her to feel tired. And then he appears while she's feeling tired. So she didn't quite understand what had happened, and she wakes up and here's this beautiful little baby. She had no recollection. So this is Janmastami. And the next morning, Nandotsava is when Yasoda Mai discovered the little baby, and then there was a wonderful festival. Then they performed Abhishek, and everyone in Braj was really happy because Nanda Maharaj, he had been without a son for so many years. He was their king, Brajanandana. And Krishna is the son of Rajendra, the king of Braj, and they loved their king. He wasn't a diabolical person at all, so it was her happiest moment in their life when the queen finally had this little prince. He wasn't like prince of royalty and opulence. He was the prince of the cowherd boys, Nandalal and Dulal Chandra. And in order just to increase this Vatsalya Prem, so Vatsalya Prem is this parental love. To increase that parental love of Nanda and Yashoda and the other gopis and gopas, Krishna appeared as this ordinary helpless baby. And he became playful and mischievous. But there's one difference in the Aishwarya Leela of the Lord. So the Lord performs these incredible superhuman activities that no one could possibly imitate. And for this reason, there's Lakshmi, she's at the feet of Lord Vishnu, she's massaging his feet. And all this thing is going on. Vishnu does not require the help of Lakshmi. Prabhupada explains that from Garbhodakshay's Vishnu, from his navel, a lotus flower is born, comes out. How many people can say they've had a lotus flower or any kind of flower grow out of your navel? Doesn't happen. And it grows up, and then this whirl of a lotus flower shows up, and then Lord Brahma, this Atmabhu, Swayambhu, he appears on the lotus flower, self-manifested, directly from the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So this Garbhodakshaya Vishnu, he also never touches the modes of material nature, completely transcendental. He creates and he empowers Lord Brahma. And it is through Lord Brahma, through that empowerment of Lord Vishnu, Krishna, that all the work is done. So Vishnu maintains, Shiva destroys, but Vishnu maintains through his divine will. Like, I remember Srila Prabhupada trying to explain this to us. Just by your desire to serve Krishna, things will manifest. Like if you're in Goloka. And one devotee, but what if I want to make a garland? It will be there. Like the ladies were stringing these garlands, they had to have thread, they had to have needles, they had to go to the store. In Goloka, I want to give Krishna a garland. There's going to be a garland in your hand to give to Krishna, or whatever it is you desire to offer to him. Just like Krishna, he can eat without putting the food in his mouth. Prabhupada said he can eat with his elbow, he can eat with his knees, he can simply glance and taste everything. That's Krishna, completely transcendental. It's not the slightest, he's not the slightest way being touched by material nature. But he's always there within us. He's watching, he's waiting, he's willing to guide you when we desire. How many times have you had a night, some kind of indication, maybe you should do this or that, but you don't do it? And then there's a disaster of some sort. Maybe not world-class disaster, but like, oh, why didn't I do that? That's Super Soul trying to urge you, trying to nudge you. And when we ignore, it's not going to go so well. So we should know and we should try to understand the greatness and the glory of the spotless transcendental attributes of Sri Krishna. The Krishna of Vrindavan. We worship Krishna in Vrindavan. And he's the source and the full manifested power and potency of all the Vishnu incarnations. So Janmastami is the day when we celebrate his appearance in this world, remembering the wonderful activities that he performed when he was here. So we celebrate. How do we celebrate? Well, we're having one example today. And we celebrate by remembering Krishna, by remembering how he was revealed in himself through his various pastimes. And the most wonderful way Krishna has given us to remember him is to hear his glories, to see his beautiful deity form, as he's come here today, and offer loving service to him in the company of his devotees by chanting Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. So for us, Janmastami, like in the Christian religion, they have, Christmas, and it's like, wow, a day off. I don't have to do anything. For us, Janmastami is a day of service. We want to take part in kirtan. We want to take part in hearing about Krishna. We want to help make this festival a wonderful day for the pleasure of Krishna. And this great movement that Lord Chaitanya has so mercifully given to us and has been brought to us directly by Srila Prabhupada, His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami, Prabhupada. So all of us, we can assist him by preaching the message of Lord Krishna. We don't want to just selfishly enjoy ourselves and enjoy Krishna for ourselves, because we know Krishna says in the Gita that the devotee is most dear to me who reveals the science of Krishna consciousness to others. So together, that is our mission. That is the Krishna consciousness mission, to create such an atmosphere to attract many, many people to see the beauty of Krishna, to take his prasad. We're not just eating. You don't eat prasad. You honor prasad. Prasad is transcendental food. Yeah. So to create this atmosphere, we want to reveal the science of Krishna consciousness to others. And that's our mission, to create such an atmosphere to attract many people to see the beauty of Krishna, especially in satsang and gathering of devotees. This is our life and soul, because what we can do to please Krishna the most is to reach out to others and call them together. So Janmastami is a particularly empowered day because it's the day when Krishna arranges for almost all classes of people. Come together, come to the temple of Krishna, receive his blessings, take his darshan. Devotees as well as non-devotees. On August 24th, 1966, in New York City, it was Janmastami, and Prabhupada spoke that now the Krishna Janmastami is just approaching. And he speaks that, it's the day we observe in India, and probably will make a program for observing the birthday ceremony here. So he used that term, birthday ceremony. Okay, everybody in this room probably knows what Janmastami means. But if we want to really please Krishna, we want to encourage many, many more people to take part in his special festivities. And if you say to somebody, oh, we're going to do Janmastami, and the person has no clue what you are talking about, most likely they wouldn't come. But when you tell them, we're celebrating God's birthday, would you like to come? Very interesting. And elsewhere, even in the Krishna book, he mentioned Janmastami is like Christmas. In America, Christmas is a festival that's very important, whether you're a Christian or not. Everyone celebrates Krishna. It's the culture here. Of course, we know that culture is kind of corrupted by materialism. You know, it's a time to endorse capitalism at its best and, get out and buy, spend your money. But still, it's there. And Prabhupada explains that people who worship any of the different gods, Hindus, even atheists, Muslims, Christians, hippies, happies, everyone can celebrate Janmastami because it's the most glorious day. So I thank all of you who have come to celebrate this Janmastami with us to make it an even more glorious day. Thanking Vrindavan Priya for your wonderful kirtan. And thank all of you for coming here. And where did Radha and Krishna appear from, besides Golok? How'd they get here?
Radhikadam.
Hey, Krishna. There you go. Thank you. So Radhika brought Radha and Krishna. Beautiful. Well, thank you, everyone. And what is next? Now we have to get the table.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, everyone that has come. I hope that we have enough seats. I see there's some people standing back there, so I apologize. Yeah, there's some space here on the floor if that's convenient for you. If not, maybe we'll make some room for you as the day goes on. Right now, what we will do is set up our outtake of the Lord. So first we will invite the senior devotees to come and bathe the Lord, and then we will provide an opportunity for everyone to do that. So if